Mitrasena, followed by Agraya Prabhu.
Who knows the fourth verse of Srimad Bhagavatam? Fourth verse. Anybody? We got a lot of pundits here, I'm sure. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, he started reciting the Sanskrit. It's where the story actually begins. The sages are in Naimisharanya. The first three verses are introductory. That verse comes in. It's the story, Prabhupada's purport there. He's talking about these sages are engaged in a 1,000-year sacrifice. In that purport, he says, great sages are always anxious to do good to the people in general. And from the tone of his purport, you can tell he really identifies with these sages and with their mission. He goes on to say, they are sincere friends to all living entities, and at the risk of great personal inconvenience, they are always engaged in the service of the Lord for the good of all people. And so from the time Prabhupada met his guru in 1922, he's met nothing but personal inconvenience. You could write a book, you could call it the 108 failures of Srila Prabhupada. Any ordinary person would just say, that's it, I quit. Krishna doesn't want me to do this. One by one, you know most of the story. I'm going to throw in a few more here. And all of us have taken on this tradition. It's a tradition in our culture. Taking on, I'll read it again. At the risk, they are sincere friends to all living entities, and at the risk of great personal inconvenience, they are always engaged in the service of the Lord for the good of all people. So he'd already risked great personal inconvenience in printing the Bhagavatam, and then he went through considerable inconvenience gathering the forms and documents and passage to board the Jaladuta. This year we observed the 60th anniversary. He departed 5 days ago, 60 years ago. So I've been keeping track. On that first day, August 13th, he noted the comfortable cabin and thanked Krishna and Sumati Murarji for making such a nice arrangement. It looked as if things were finally going his way. The journey began easily. On the second day of the journey, he wrote, the ship started at about 11 o'clock this morning, majestically. I do not feel any jerking whatsoever. But on reaching the Bay of Bengal, there is tilting of the ship and a little rolling also. The roughness increased gradually on the upper Bay of Bengal, and I felt seasickness. This is from his diary that he kept in the archives. Do they still have that book available? Oh yeah, it's still available. I felt uncomfortable the whole day and night. The sea was foamy all through. 4 days into the journey, on August 16th, 1965, which was yesterday in our 60 years ago time machine, he wrote, today, early in the morning, I saw that the ship was plying on the surface of the sea, almost at 0 degree of waves. Last night was comfortable, and although I did not take my lunch, I took a little puffed rice with milk. This was his first meal since he was at sea. So like 3 days in, he eats a little puffed rice and milk. The ship ran smoothly all of last night in the moonlight, but after 11, the sea became a little more rough, showing foamy waves from the distance. Then we experienced a dark cloud raining all over the sea. The siren sounded to warn other ships due to the hazy vision. At noon, it is raining heavily, and the ship has stopped moving, occasionally sounding the siren. There is a constant sound of thunderbolts. This is the first time I'm experiencing heavy rains in the midst of the deep ocean. From noon, we are passing through cyclonic weather. The ship is tilting too much, and I felt seasickness all day and night. At 3 p.m., we turned toward the Ceylon coast, and we are now in Ceylon water. So today's entry from 60 years ago, here we go. You can follow the journey with Prabhupada. Today's entry, August 17th, 1965, the 5th day of the journey. The ship is heading west. I feel a little better. The sea is rough as we are heading against the wind. At 10:30, we saw the south coast of Ceylon with a white lighthouse. Today, I am better than the other 3 days. At 3 p.m., the Colombo city became faintly visible from the ship. So they reach the port. They go to Colombo. He walks around. He feels a lot better. Then he gets back on the ship. There's more rough weather. We know what happens. 2 heart attacks. Then when they're going through the Suez Canal, or just approaching the Suez Canal, here's what Captain Pandya says. Okay, here's news. A lot of you don't know about this. Captain Pandya said, Port Said is in Egypt, the northern end of the Suez Canal. He told me he will go to Cairo, and he would go to the Indian embassy and go back. I said, Swamiji, you have come here. You are a spiritual leader and a master. You should guide us. You have left India. I think you should continue onward toward America and do whatever purpose that you have gone there for. He was very, very unwell. He was seasick. He was under the impression that he had had a couple of heart attacks. In Port Said, we went for a walk and we strolled around. We came back, he was feeling much better, and then he decided not to go to Cairo. Just stay with the ship. Then, after that, I don't think after that he was really seasick. So I'll read the quotation one more time. Srimad Bhagavatam, purport, 4th verse. Great sages are always anxious to do good to the people in general. They are sincere friends to all living entities, and at the risk of great personal inconvenience, they are always engaged in the service of the Lord for the good of all people. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So, Agraya Prabhu. Then I have a few announcements to make after that.
Nama Om